Hey there, Sovereigns! Monica Grace from cardreadingqueen.com, and today I'm going to talk about why I believe wholeheartedly in twin souls, why I believe they exist, and why I probably always will. This one's a little bit personal, and I've talked about this a little bit or maybe alluded to it in the past, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more deeply this time. So basically, when you look at twin souls in the physical world, it looks like very chaotic. There's a lot of there are just a lot of toxic patterns that exist between the twin soul pairings, and that can cause a lot of problems in the connection. So it's very easy to look at what's going on, get very mired in the shadows of the, just the kind of challenges and even just the darkness around twin souls. And it's very easy to say, is this really a thing? Does it actually exist? So I wanted to share, I basically, the way that I came across the term twin soul, which as I was growing up, I had always heard of like a soulmate. Of course, I always believed I would marry my soulmate because, I guess I just thought that the fairy tale was real, basically. So I always thought that like soulmates came together very easily and naturally. I truly believed that. And then, I had not heard the term twin soul until I was an adult a couple years ago. And the way I came across it is that I was actually trying to process some stuff from my divorce. So with my ex-husband, what I was trying to figure out is why the relationship basically seemed, so good at first, like why it seemed like it was a soulmate at first. And we basically started dating. I think it was, this was a long time ago at this point. I think it was like January of 2005, like toward the end of January of 2005. And we got engaged in October of 2005, so less than 10 months, like 9 months. And then we got married in November of 2006. So I think those years are correct. I'm struggling to remember. And we were 21 when we got engaged, 22 when we got married. And we had both just graduated college. Like we were right out of college. Had barely been out for like 6 months when we got married. It's not a crazy thing, but looking back on it, it was pretty crazy, I guess. Or it feels like it was pretty crazy. So I will say though that it did feel, it felt like it was real. Up until there were a lot of red flags in our senior year of college, and then leading into, we were supposed to get married. So it's like after we got engaged, like tons of red flags, and then before we got married, like more red flags. I tried to call off the wedding. It didn't really stick, as some of you probably understand what I mean by that. Where it was like such a kind of toxic and controlling relationship that I think I just didn't want, I don't want people to be mad at me. I wanted to kind of honor my commitment, I guess. And and then I also I wasn't sure, I didn't know which way I wanted to go, and I knew that if we didn't get married on the original timeline, that I would lose the relationship. And I just wasn't I wasn't really ready to let it go, because I didn't know if it was good or bad. So I was like, okay, I'll just like kind of go through with it. So anyway, I was looking for a term or like an understanding of what had happened in that relationship. And the term I came across was karmic twin. And so I was reading about the karmic twin, and it all made a ton of sense to me. And so that's how I came to the concept of a twin soul, which is kind of like, it's basically like almost the opposite of a karmic twin. Not really, but the karmic twin is somebody who is a catalyst in terms of wounding, I feel, like just bringing up all of your stuff, but it's a very toxic relationship, where the twin soul is, your ideal counterpart. So that's how I came to the term twin soul, and I didn't really like consider like looking for my twin soul. I wasn't like on this journey until I think it was like, I probably came across the term, sometime in 2016. 2017, there were a couple of reasons that I started looking into the twin soul journey more, and just kind of exploring the idea of it, but not really, I wouldn't say I was really committed. I was pretty confused about the whole thing, actually, and like just kind of like learning everything I could about it. And then I'd say like 2018 was when I was really like, okay, like I think I'm like all in on this. And so the thing though that pushed me over the edge was a specific telepathic experience or psychic experience. And what it was is that I met a twin soul couple that were and are on the other side. And this twin soul couple, they really showed me what the relationship actually was. So, with the twin soul couple, it's like I guess I'll start with like how they, so the way they came to me was, there's like a whole backstory to this, and I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't think it's really that relevant. But basically, the masculine of this twin soul couple had appeared to me before, through like a meditation, and like said all this stuff to me, and it really like shook my foundations, just like shook my entire belief system, I guess, because I didn't honestly believe in like spirits or souls, or I believe that those were there. I didn't believe in like communicating with people who had already passed on. Like that was just not something that I was into or like wanted to be a part of or anything. And so that whole situation took me by surprise. And so then, and that was like middle of 2017. And so then in 2018, basically I saw the masculine again, but this time he brought his feminine with him. And it was, like the way they came to me, and the way they've always come to me, because they've come to me a couple more times. It's always through, like the first time it was like a meditation, and the second time, and then kind of after that, because I don't really meditate very often. It was like it was a clairvoyant experience. And so what that means, it's, or not clairvoyant, I guess claircognizant to be correct. I was going to say to be more specific, but I think claircognizance is probably the most correct term I can use here. So it was like I received like I could kind of see them, but for the most part, it's like I receive information from them. And it's like, you know, 1 second I didn't know, and then the next second I do. And like I know more than I necessarily wanted to know sometimes. But then, okay, so the first encounter with this twin soul couple, it was just the masculine. I was totally not into it, like very upset by it. Like started, you know, had to work with a couple people who are more versed in this to just like answer some basic questions about it, because it was just like really freaking me out. And then the second time he brought his counterpart, the feminine, and that was a lot easier. The feminine energy is just like it was just like a more safe energy for me. And I'm trying to think of like how much I should explain. So like the two of the twin soul couple, they had been on Earth, and I had never met them, but they had been on Earth at some point, and you know, would be roughly like my parents' age. So they're not my age, but they're like a generation earlier. So they're not parental figures. That's not the right word, but they are the same age as like my parents would be. So in that sense, they were parental figures. So I met them, and the thing that it's like the energy was just so different with the two of them than I had ever experienced. So the first thing is, so they answered a bunch of my questions, so that was great. And it was actually really peaceful. They talked to me about like children being adopted, which was really helpful. And they basically said that all children are adopted. And so this isn't why they told me this, or maybe it is, but the way it helped me was that I was struggling to get pregnant at the time. And it was just kind of sharing with me that, you know, it's like, at the soul level, you know, or on the other side, or whatever you want to call it. But like when people are in their purest form as souls, they're all peers. It's only here on Earth that we create these relationships where like you have, you know, like the child-parent relationship. And that is to help us learn and heal and grow. But like before that, at the soul level, we're actually all peers. So even, you know, like I did eventually get pregnant, and I have a child now, and he is a soul, and here on Earth, it is my job, and also my legal obligation, obviously, but it is my job to like care for him and guide him. But at the soul level, we are actually equal. And at the soul level, we have our understandings and agreements to help each other here on Earth. And it's like a fully consensual relationship, I guess, in the sense that if like whatever happens, it's okay. So like, and the reason I'm saying this is because like, you know, most of our wounding as humans is going to come from our parents first, our family then, so like siblings or grandparents, and then our romantic partnerships, our best friends, and also like people in authority over us, and then the society of like, you know, the society that we're born into. These are all things that affect our wounding. But so I was kind of asking them like, how could, how is this okay when there's this parent-child relationship, and they were saying that it was a consensual relationship at the soul level, or like that what had happened was consensual at the soul level. So they answered like a ton of my questions, and this happened really quickly. It wasn't like this 30-minute conversation or anything. It was a very quick like back and forth, because it was so instantaneous. Like, like my questions were already formed, and I had no idea they were gonna visit me. It was just like they just started talking to me, and then I had these questions, I think, because I had been like thinking about them for a long time. So this is a little bit cryptic, and I think too much backstory. So let me try to get to like the important part, which is the energy that they had. So basically there were a couple things about the energy that really helped me understand twin souls, and also helped me confirm twin souls. So the first thing is that the two of them were like two beings, but one like one voice almost. It's not presence, but yeah, it's like two beings that had the same exact presence, and you really like, it was almost like the two souls were like entwined in each other, so like they were just enmeshed in each other. Like you could not see where one ended and the other began. But I could feel that it was two different beings. And when they communicated with me, it was one voice. And like I knew it was both of them talking to me at the same time. And they were so deeply in unison that it was just like remarkable. Like I can't even explain, like I've never experienced something like that. And like there's no corollary to that on planet Earth. Like there's no, you could look at like twins, or like Siamese twins, maybe even. I mean, it's like these souls were like they were entwined in each other, and they were speaking to me as one. And it's like you couldn't really tell like who was who. It wasn't like, oh, the masculine is speaking out or the feminine is speaking out. It was like the two souls speaking as one. So that was really cool. Like it was just like a really helpful visual to understand what twin souls are really like in their purest form. And it's like the way I experienced it, I was like, oh, like they, like, not only do they belong together, but they're like literally always with each other. So it would literally be like at the soul level, it's literally like you would have like a Siamese twin with you almost. There was nothing separate in them. And that's kind of, it's an interesting way to explain it. It's like literally it was the absence of separation. Like that's how the energy felt. The absence of separation. And it makes so much sense because they were in union, obviously. Like so yeah, they had one consciousness, indistinguishable voices, the absence of separation. The second thing is that they wanted to show me what twin soul love, and really just what love in the purest form felt like. And I don't know why they did this. But they basically just sent me love. And it like, if I had to guess how long this thing lasted, it was like probably like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But they basically just sent me like this golden love that like really washed over me. And it was a very like an amazing, but like very bizarre experience. It was like and like I could feel it like through my entire body. And it was almost like this liquid like pouring into my body, and it was going to like places in my body that I had never. It was like it was almost like I could feel that they were like empty caverns in my body that had never experienced love, basically. And this is like this is, I want to be 100% clear, this is not a sexual thing. It was like a very spiritual thing, obviously. But it was like this golden love. Like it like filled my entire body with love in its purest form. And I remember thinking, like up until that point, I had like the deepest love I had really ever felt was through my own, like my parents, like my biological parents who are still on this earth. Like if I could say like, if I could say anybody who like truly loved me, it would be my parents. At, you know, at the deepest levels, it would be my parents. You know, they've always loved me my whole entire life, and they always will. It doesn't really matter what I do. They're always going to love me. And that, it was like, to compare this love to that love, and it, you know, it's not like, this is not a blame thing, but just, it was just like this immediate comparison I got. And I think it's because these twin souls, when they were here on earth, they were like my parents' age, and they, you know, like the sense in which I know them is as parents. But it was like an incomparable, like it was just incomparable. It was like my parents' love felt like so like human, first of all. Like, you know, humanity is like mired in like all this messiness and like wounding. So it felt like very human. It felt very earthly. Like it was just like, and it felt really empty, like in comparison. So like this love that this twin soul couple poured on me was, it was just like full. It was fully embodied. It was, like tingle, like it just felt so good. Like, and I remember for like days, I was still able to tap into that feeling. Probably the best I've ever felt in my life. Like there's nothing here on earth that could even compare to it. So for days I was able to like tap back into that feeling, and over time it did fade, and every time I tried to tap back into it, it had faded a little, because it was like reality. It's like how they say your environment like really kind of it kind of engulfs you almost, like if you're trying to make a change or like create a new habit, it's like you need to change your environment above all, because your environment can like so easily just pull you back into like your old mindset. So it was like that. And it was just like really pure and beautiful is the only way I could describe it. If I could bottle that feeling, it would, you know, I'd be like a multi-billionaire by now, probably. So what else do I want to say about this? Yeah, so these were the two things that happened. And because of that, I really began to believe in, I began to like believe in twin souls, because it was just so real. Like that's the only way to explain it. It was so real. So I believed in them. And then I started to believe in like my own ability to attract, but really to reunite with my twin, who, you know, wherever he was out there, like I was going to reunite with him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's interesting because with this twin soul couple, the only time they've appeared to me like that was in this instance. And that was probably, maybe even the longest I'd really spoken to them. So after that experience, I had kind of like shut it down, and I had a lot of reasons for it. I still have the same reasons, which is, it's just like, the roles I really like them. Like, they're cool. I wish I could talk to them more, but it's like what they represented to me here on Earth, is just painful. I don't mean to get emotional. So it's painful. So I shut it down. Like, I don't talk to them very often. And I'm kind of working through some stuff so that maybe I could talk to them more. But I haven't really seen them since then. I've seen them only a couple times, and I really like asked them not to come to me again, because the first couple times they came to me, it was not really like my choice. Like, I wasn't really able to stop them, or and it's like I hadn't really like invited them. So yeah, I talked to a friend who said I could just like stop. And so I did. I asked them to stop coming to me. And they've come only a couple other times. But only when I've like really asked them to, or only when I like really had a question. So one of the times, and ever since then, it's really been either the masculine or the feminine, in the sense that like one of them, I'm sure it's both of them, but it's like they show me the side that I need at that moment. So usually it's the feminine who comes, and I think that's like kind of the more nurturing energy. There was one time the masculine came, and I think it's because I just don't I think I have just more fear of the masculine for whatever reason. It's like, here on Earth, like the life that he had, was a little bit harsher, I think. And really, I don't fully know. I don't know the actual story, but, I had kind of a bad impression of him here on Earth for a long time. So he just kind of scares me more. So, he, the only time he came to me was shortly after my son was born. And, it was kind of a silly reason. I had been watching, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right before I gave birth, pretty much. And on that, if you guys watch the show, on the show, they talked about how Kim Kardashian's fourth child was her dad reincarnated. And so it's it's like a thing that the family talks about on a regular basis now. And they've gone to multiple psychics who have confirmed it. And so my son, it was very weird circumstances, was born at the same exact time as me. Not the same day, but the same time, which was 6:01 a.m. And it was really bizarre. Because yeah, it was just very weird. Especially a big part of that was because if you're familiar with how to do natal charting and astrology, you need the time of birth and the place in order to get the correct results. So that was just very weird that he was born at the same exact time as me. And so I took it as a sign, of course. Like, why wouldn't you? This is like my first child. He's born at the same exact time as me. He was, and yeah. So that's like a whole different video. But I had a fear that maybe it was this masculine reincarnated, and I don't know where that fear came from. But I just I think my baby was like a month old or so, and I just asked. It was like, what is going on here? And he was just very immediately like, no, it's not me. And the reason is because it wouldn't be kind to you, because you already have, preconceived notions about me. So you already have a relationship to me through your, as you are on earth. So it wouldn't be very kind to you to reincarnate as somebody else who you're going to have a close relationship to. And it's a very different relationship. So that was a huge relief to just know. So I don't know if I do believe in reincarnation, so I assume that my child is reincarnated. Maybe he's not, I have no idea. But it was a huge relief to know that it wasn't this masculine specifically. So anyway, that is why this twin soul set, and they're just kind of with me. I can't really say goodbye to them that easily. But since I experienced, that's why I believe in twin souls. And that is why I understand the energy of the twin souls pretty well, I feel, because I've seen it from the other side. I've seen it in its purest form. And that's why, I think some of my content can be it doesn't sound super compassionate necessarily toward the earthly piece of things, that the fact that we are human and we're dealing with these human situations, the love of my life is married to somebody else, that's a very human situation. That's why even if you don't end up with your twin soul now, in the next decade, in the next year, in this lifetime, it's you're gonna be with them on the other side, and you're so entwined with them. You really are. There's really no separation there. And it's you came to Earth to experience a separation in order to grow. You truly did. And it was your choice, and you're exploring and meeting new people because of it, and having different relationships because of it. And if you could feel the energy of these two twin souls, it's there's no space. There's just no space between them. There's no I don't know if surprise is the right word, but there's no tension there, I guess. So it's you came to Earth to really experience the conflict in order to grow. And you had to, because the way I felt this energy, you wouldn't be able to if you didn't come to a place like Earth. There's just no way that the twin souls could experience separation without the deep illusions that Earth has to offer. And so for me, at least, I have so much gratitude for not only the journey, but also for the ability to be separated. And even if you are with your twin soul in a relationship, because separation still exists when you are with your twin soul in a relationship, which is another video that I want to do. But like, it's like, even when you get together with your twin soul, the two of you are still separate people, and that's like such a gift. It's because if you knew like how entwined you are in the afterlife or on the other side, whatever you want to call it, you would, it would make your human self feel like pretty, like it would be like a struggle to feel freedom. So just being able to like have your own thoughts, have your own opinions, have your own viewpoints, your own worldviews that are, separate from your twin here on this planet only. It's like such a gift, and just so wild and so crazy. And it's like, it helped me understand why twin souls would even sign up to come to Earth in order to experience this. Because there really just wouldn't be another way for the two counterparts to grow. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I know this was a long piece of content, so I hope it was awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. And I wish I could, if you have any questions about this energy that I experienced, I would be happy to try to explain it more, but that's about the best I can explain it right now. So I hope this was helpful to you. Definitely check out some of my other videos about these experiences, about telepathy. And if you're listening to the podcast, check out some of my other episodes about telepathy. Thank you so much for watching.